My video on the Bocote Tornado Bowl was received really well, so I decided to make a similar piece, this time using Cocobolo wood. In this video, I'll show you how to turn an ordinary board into a stunning bowl with dramatic grain patterns, using the same ring segment method. And if you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. I've got plenty more exciting projects lined up and ready to film. Cocobolo is known for its dramatic grain patterns. Native to Mexico and Central America, it's a dense, oily hardwood, which makes gluing and finishing a bit tricky, but the results are well worth the effort. It's also extremely hard, so turning it can be quite a challenge. This board measures roughly 11 inches by 5.5 inches and about 2 inches thick. I started by resawing the board on the bandsaw to create a beautiful book-matched pattern. Then I jointed the edges that I wanted to glue together. Before gluing, I cleaned the surfaces with denatured alcohol to remove excess oils. For this project, I used tight-bond 3-wood glue, a better choice for oily woods like Cocobolo. After letting the glue dry overnight, I scraped off the excess and flattened one face. Next, I ran it through the planer with shallow passes to minimize tear-up. On the side that will become the inside of the bowl, I marked concentric rings, each 7/8 inch thick. The center ring is about 3.5 inches in diameter. I had already attached the waste block to my faceplate, so I used hot glue to secure the board, cleaning the gluing surface again with denatured alcohol for a stronger bond. Be sure to attach the faceplate to the side that will become the outside of the bowl. Before cutting the rings, I drew a center line with arrows through the rings to maintain orientation and preserve the book-matched grain alignment. To cut the rings, I used a simple jig mounted on the tool rest rod, set at a 45-degree angle to the board. A 1/16 inch parting tool did the cutting. It's critical to keep the parting tool razor sharp to avoid binding, so I sharpened it after each ring. I used a drum sander to smooth the surface of each ring. Before sanding, I transferred the arrow alignment marks to the sides of the rings to preserve grain orientation. Before gluing the rings, I marked alignment lines across each ring's glue joint, referencing the original center line to ensure consistent grain orientation. To add contrast, I use a piece of Mexican ebony, also known as catalogs, for the base. I glued the base to the smallest ring first, carefully aligning the centers. For gluing the full stack, I used the jig I built based on the Longworth chuck design. It includes a spring-loaded center finder that helps keep the stack aligned. The goal is to ensure the top and bottom rings are precisely centered, while the middle rings are adjusted visually. First, I cleaned the gluing surface of all rings with denatured alcohol. The alignment marks help throughout the gluing process. I let the glue dry overnight. With the bowl mounted on the lathe, I began by flattening the top edge using a carbide scraper. This allowed me to securely support it with my plate jig on the tailstock. Then I did a light shaping pass with my half-inch bowl gouge, followed by smoothing with a negative rake scraper. After shaping, I sanded thoroughly, starting with 40 grit and working up to 1000 grit. Then I cleaned the surface with denatured alcohol. I followed that with a two-step buff using Yorkshire Grit, original first, then microfine, to achieve a polished finish. Cocobolo's natural oils leave a rich sheen, but I wanted a bit more depth, so I applied a friction polish using OB Shine Juice, a mix of shellac, boiled linseed oil, and denatured alcohol. My formula is on the screen. I applied the shine juice with a piece of paper towel. As the first coat, I applied it generously, then spun the bowl and added several more coats. After letting it sit for a while, I applied a few final coats to bring out a deep, luxurious shine. Finally, I buffed it with beeswax paste. part of the bowl from the waste block, I use my 1/16 inch parting tool. Then finish the cut with a Japanese pull saw. To clean the bottom, I mounted the bowl on my vacuum chuck. Here is my vacuum chuck system. It consists of a JB Industries oiled vacuum pump, a 5-inch one-way chuck, and a Laguna spindle adapter. Finally, I applied my UV cured top coat finish to the base for added durability. And here it is, the Cocobolo and Catalog's Tornado Bowl. A challenging build, but incredibly rewarding. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss future projects. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.